Few figures in hip-hop have been as influential or as polarizing as Sean "Diddy" Combs. Over the course of 3 decades, he built an empire that touched nearly every aspect of the entertainment world: music, fashion, television, and spirits. But behind the mogul persona, Combs has also been dogged by persistent rumors, lawsuits, and now, a landmark criminal trial that may forever change his legacy. The trial, which began in earnest in mid-May 2025 in Manhattan Federal Court, stems from a series of civil lawsuits, high-profile investigations, and federal raids that exploded into public consciousness over the previous year. The charges brought against Combs are sweeping: sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, racketeering, illegal drug distribution, and multiple counts of obstruction and witness intimidation. The trial has become one of the most closely watched cases in American entertainment and legal history. This video recounts what has transpired so far, with an emphasis on the trial's structure, the witnesses who have come forward, the defense's strategy, and the broader implications for justice, celebrity accountability, and the music industry. Sean Combs began his career in the early 1990s as a talent director at Uptown Records, before founding Bad Boy Records in 1993. With protégés like the notorious B.I.G., Mace, and later Cassie Ventura, Combs became synonymous with a flashier, mogul-driven iteration of hip-hop culture. He would go on to diversify his ventures, from the Sean John fashion label to partnerships with Diageo for Ciroc vodka. He earned the nickname Puff Daddy, later shortened to Diddy, and was often framed in media as the ultimate rags-to-riches story. But behind the success were troubling signs. Whispers about abusive relationships, violent outbursts, and manipulation followed him through the years. These culminated in 2023, when Cassie Ventura, his longtime ex-girlfriend, filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of rape, domestic violence, and psychological abuse. Though settled within 24 hours, it opened the floodgates. By mid-2024, the Department of Justice launched a formal investigation. In November, Homeland Security raided his Los Angeles and Miami properties. The indictment arrived in early 2025, revealing an alleged criminal enterprise run under the guise of a music and lifestyle brand. The trial officially commenced on May 12, 2025, at the U.S. District Court in Manhattan. The atmosphere was tense, with media and spectators packed into the courtroom, eager to witness the unfolding of what many describe as one of the most significant celebrity trials in recent memory. The charges against Sean "Diddy" Combs were laid bare by Assistant U.S. Attorney Maya Del Toro during the opening statement. She characterized Combs not just as a successful entrepreneur, but as the leader of a criminal enterprise that systematically exploited vulnerable women for his own pleasure and profit. Del Toro emphasized the pattern and practice of abuse, asserting that the prosecution was not pursuing isolated incidents, but rather exposing a long-standing culture of coercion, violence, and trafficking hidden beneath Combs' glamorous public persona. She painted a picture of women manipulated through fear, drugs, and financial control, forced into what she termed freak-offs, private parties where women were coerced into sexual acts in front of Combs and his associates. In stark contrast, defense attorney Benjamin Brafman opened with a firm denial of all charges. He argued that the government's case was fueled by disgruntled former lovers and opportunists seeking financial gain. Brafman asked the jury to consider that the relationships Combs had were consensual and complicated, colored by the ups and downs of a high-profile lifestyle. He urged the jury to look beyond sensational headlines and media frenzy and focus solely on evidence. The most anticipated moment of the first week came when Cassie Ventura took the stand. The courtroom fell silent as the former singer and model recounted her harrowing experience. Over the course of 3 days, Cassie's testimony provided a detailed and emotional chronology of her relationship with Combs, beginning when she was only 19 years old. Cassie described her early relationship with Combs as intoxicating and filled with promise, highlighting his charisma and the lavish lifestyle he offered. However, she quickly revealed the darker undercurrents that defined much of their time together. She recounted instances where Combs exerted complete control over her life, including managing her finances, dictating what she could wear, and isolating her from friends and family. Her most chilling testimony involved the freak-offs. Cassie testified that these events were orchestrated by Combs and his inner circle, during which she was coerced into sexual acts with multiple male escorts while Combs watched, sometimes participating. She described feeling trapped and powerless, frequently under the influence of substances provided by Combs to keep her compliant. Cassie also detailed the physical abuse she endured. She testified about numerous occasions when Combs hit her, choked her, and threw objects at her during violent arguments. She described the mental toll of living in constant fear, saying, "It was like walking on eggshells every day, never knowing when the next outburst would come." One particularly impactful moment was when she referenced the now infamous 2016 hotel hallway video, which was introduced as evidence. The footage showed Combs assaulting Cassie in a hotel corridor, a stark, raw display of violence that corroborated her narrative. Cassie's calm and resolute demeanor during the replay deeply moved many in the courtroom. Supporting Cassie's testimony, the prosecution introduced a wealth of corroborating evidence. Medical records from visits to emergency rooms, documenting injuries consistent with her account, were entered into evidence. Photographs of bruises, internal communications between Combs' staff discussing how to manage Cassie's behavior, and a trove of text messages and emails revealing controlling and abusive language were all presented. Moreover, her journal entries, meticulously kept during her relationship with Combs, were read aloud. These personal writings detailed her feelings of isolation, despair, and confusion, painting a vivid picture of someone trapped in an abusive relationship. Witnesses who had been close to Cassie during that time, including friends and former employees of Combs, testified to having seen her injuries and the change in her demeanor, from vibrant and confident to withdrawn and fearful. The defense's cross-examination sought to dismantle Cassie's credibility by highlighting inconsistencies in her previous interviews and statements. Braffman questioned her about the civil settlement she had received, implying a financial motive for her testimony. He also pointed out moments when Cassie appeared happy in photos or public appearances with Combs, suggesting the relationship was not uniformly abusive. Cassie acknowledged that she had moments of happiness, but stressed that the abusive episodes were frequent and traumatic, affecting her deeply. She said, "No one sees the scars behind the smiles." Braffman also probed the timeline, attempting to suggest that some of the events described could not have occurred as she claimed. However, the prosecution countered these points by presenting time-stamped digital evidence and corroborating witnesses. The impact of Cassie's testimony was palpable. Jurors were visibly affected, often leaning forward in their seats during her statements. Several observers noted the courtroom's heavy silence as she recounted her ordeal, broken only by the occasional sniffle or gasp. Media coverage was intense. Social media platforms exploded with support for Cassie, using hashtags like #JusticeForCassie and #SpeakYourTruth. At the same time, online forums debated the complexities of their relationship, reflecting the broader societal struggle to reconcile the personas of celebrity and victimhood. Thanks for watching our deep dive into Week 1 of the Diddy trial. If you want more updates and insights, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Stay tuned.